Hey everybody, Fox 35 Storm Team Meteorologist Laurel Blanchard here with your Fox 35 Weather Plus intro for today. It has been a quiet week. Of course, we had some rain on Sunday. It was wild. And then, of course, it was just actually beautiful for the start of the work week. Today, it's another gorgeous day, very low rain chances. And we're going to hold that through the rest of the work week and into the weekend. So any outdoor plans that you may have, write those in the comments. We will give you a personalized forecast coming up over the next couple of days. And then we also have our question of the day, so stick around for that. We're going to be talking a little bit more about Halloween and, of course, touching on the latest with Melissa and the tropics, because of course tropics, it is still hurricane season. We still have about a month and a change to go, so we're going to definitely talk a little bit more about that as well. So let's get right into the latest. We are going to continue to track not only Melissa, but we are also going to be tracking another cold front that's making its way into the region. So let's actually start off with the latest. We are going to also be seeing Halloween right around the corner. The countdown is on. We are seeing for the next couple of days beautiful sunshine, but we are going to continue to see more of that cooler weather start to kick back in as we head through the next couple of days. So 9 days to go until Halloween. We're going to definitely keep an eye on that forecast for you so you can get the latest and most accurate forecast for that as you're taking your kids, your pets out for trick-or-treating Halloween. So let's start off with our question of the day. What is your favorite type of Halloween candy is the question of the day today. So definitely write in with your favorite. We would love to hear it. We'll share your comments a little bit later on in the show. And again, if you do have a favorite thing you like to do in the fall, Halloween costume, we would love to see it as well. So we are going to take a look at the question of the day coming up in a few, and then get into tracking the latest on Melissa. Sorry, my computer is a little slow right now. Question of the day is, what is your favorite Halloween candy? And for this month of October, we are kind of giving you a little bit of a photo challenge. We've already gotten a couple of submissions in already. But again, write in the comments any plans for the rest of the week and into the weekend. If you do have any Halloween activities, write in your answer for the question of the day. And also, heads up, we are doing a photo challenge for the month of October. And you can see a couple of eras of Laurel in here, as well as Honey. So send us your Halloween costumes. We are taking Halloween costumes from you, your family, your kids, your pets, as Halloween festivities really get underway. We've had a couple of submissions of viewers already, so definitely let us know. And again, you can see a couple of eras of Laurel in here. You can see me from when I was very, very young as a baby to all the way up until quite literally about a year and a half ago. So yeah, we can definitely send us in your photos of yourself dressed up, your pets dressed up, your kids dressed up, any one of your friends. We would love to see them. And you can send those photos in to fox35stormteam@fox.com, or you can send them to me, laurel.blanchard@fox.com. But make sure you do watch your email. We will have to send you a consent form that you will have to answer so we can use them on our stream as well as through our social media. So thanks everyone for jumping in on that. All right, so let's get to the latest with Melissa. So Melissa, this is the 2 p.m. update of what we're tracking right now. And here's the latest. So, from the 2 p.m. update, the storm has picked up a little bit of strength, 50-mile-per-hour winds, and it's going to really just sit and spin across the southern Caribbean because it's really tapping into that much warmer water, as well as it's kind of also getting into an area with very low wind shear. So this is what we're seeing the latest with Tropical Storm Melissa. So we're going to kind of play like a 12-hour loop. You can kind of start to see that eye wall break down a little bit, but then it kind of comes back. So that's a sign that it is going to strengthen. And of course, we are seeing extremely warm ocean water and also just seeing a little bit of that lower wind shear, which is just going to allow this storm to take off over the next couple of days. So here's the latest cone. And I say that very unsurely because it really looks like we're looking at a tropical outlook forecast because it's not really a cone like what we normally see. It's really more like a blob instead of a cone. And the track is still something that's a little bit up for debate and something that we're going to need to watch over the next couple of days. So here's what we're looking at with the latest cone from the National Hurricane Center from Melissa. 2 p.m. update, 50-mile-per-hour winds. And again, it's really just going to sit and spin with the current pattern that we're in right now. It doesn't really have anywhere to go as it makes its way northward. It's kind of going to be hitting a roadblock. We'll talk about that in a little bit, but overall, we're going to continue to monitor the potential for Hurricane Melissa coming up as soon as Saturday. We could be looking at a Category 1 storm as it kind of makes its way up towards Jamaica, I guess, and then makes its way a little bit more towards the west, intensifying to a Category 3 storm, which is expected by the start of the work week. So things that we're going to be watching over the next couple of days as we head into the weekend. So reason why we're seeing a little bit of more of that conciseness with the track, but not necessarily a total slam dunk, we absolutely know where it's going to go. We have a good idea, but there's still a good amount of range of who is going to get hit the hardest, and that's something that we'll talk about coming up in the next break. But we can see the majority of those models kind of have it in the Central Caribbean at least for the next 3 to 5 days. Once we kind of hit day 5, day 7, which puts us into next week, then it's kind of anybody's game. So depending on where this track goes, these models, as well as the cone, kind of tend to bring it a little bit more towards Jamaica and then have it do like a little bit of a loop and then bring it off. Some of them bring it more up into Haiti, the Dominican Republic. Either way, this is going to possibly bring the potential for some life-threatening flooding to Haiti, the Dominican Republic, and depending on where this storm starts to go as it's starting to intensify, Jamaica could also be hit, southern Cuba could also be hit with that life-threatening flooding. And one other thing that I kind of want to stress a little bit more is that you look carefully, there's a huge mountain range kind of from the southern Dominican Republic all the way through southern Haiti. And with that, it's going to be very much almost a Helene replay, especially in this area, because it's going to be that tropical storm, all that moisture is going to kind of ride up and over the mountains and get squeezed out before we start to see that moisture make its way up into northern Haiti, northern Dominican Republic. So when we actually talk about rain chances coming up in the next break, you'll notice that there's going to be major rain chances in southern Haiti, southern Dominican Republic, and then northern Dominican Republic, and even parts of Puerto Rico, maybe even see nothing. So this is really all going to depend on where this storm heads. But again, really this could ultimately be a life-threatening flooding event for areas across Haiti, the Dominican Republic, especially for those on the southern side of the mountains. So again, right along the coast right here. So Port-au-Prince also up to all the way through this southern edge of the Caribbean islands, we could be seeing some major flooding. And again, we'll talk more about those rain chances coming up in a little bit. But for us right now, here taking it more towards a local aspect, it's beautiful here where we are. We're having a cold front kind of move through right now. You'll notice especially a little bit of a breeze kind of picking up through the rest of the overnight tonight and through the day tomorrow. A little bit of a reinforced shot of cool air making its way into central Florida, and that's what's going to give us a little bit of that fall relief towards the middle of the work week. And then we're also going to be tracking just waves of those cold fronts kind of making their way through Florida as we ended off the rainy season, now kind of in that Florida fall season, and we're going to continue to kind of watch the forecast because again, as cold fronts move through, they can either bring that cooler air or bring rain along with it. So we're going to continue to monitor that as we see the possibility of some rain chances making their way back into the forecast. So we'll talk about that in a little bit, but let's actually take a look at your comments. Let's see where you're watching from. Jeff Wood from Mount Dora watching on Facebook, on YouTube. We have Wesley watching. We have Berlinda watching from Kissimmee. KB says that they are cruising, so heads up, KB, if you are on YouTube, make sure you are definitely being careful if you are heading to the Caribbean. It definitely may be tracked. And we also have a Melissa, funny enough, watching on our YouTube page. So yes, you are being... Your name is being tracked, I guess, but not necessarily you. So we're going to continue to talk a little bit more specifics about Melissa coming up after the break. We'll take a break probably in about 30 seconds or so, and then we'll definitely dig a little bit more into why we're kind of seeing just an unsure track at the moment, and then we'll also talk a little bit more about what's in store for the rest of the work week and the weekend a little bit later on in the show. But we're going to kind of dig a little bit deeper into why the tropics are kind of behaving the way that they are right now, coming up after this quick break. So for Fox 35 local or Fox Local, definitely stick with us, and Fox or YouTube and Facebook kind of stick with us as well. Keep your comments writing in. Again, we have our Facebook question of the day, and that is, what is your favorite Halloween candy? So get us in that answers coming up in about 2 minutes, so you have a little bit of time in order to get that in. We'll take a quick break and we'll be right back. All right, everybody, welcome back. And we are going to be kind of doing a little bit of a deeper dive into the tropics. But again, keep your either your weekend plans, rest of the work week plans coming. Taking a look through the chat right now, we'll have your comments kind of popped up a little bit later on in the show. But we'd love to have you get in the conversation. Favorite Halloween candy, or if you do plan on getting dressed up for Halloween, or planning on a cruise in the next couple of weeks. I see a couple people writing in that. Definitely let us know, and we will try to give you the best forecast and the most accurate forecast possible. All right, so let's get a little bit of a deeper dive into the tropics. So here's the latest. This is Tropical Storm Melissa, 50-mile-per-hour winds according to the 2 p.m. update from the National Hurricane Center. Next update comes out at 5 p.m. Next update after that comes out at 8 p.m. So we're going to kind of get into that more regular update schedule as opposed to what we would normally see if this was just a storm kind of swimming out in the central Atlantic. So those are the next couple of updates, but right now, 2 p.m. update is what we're looking at right now. Here's kind of just a radar loop of what we're seeing with Melissa. So here we can kind of saw those storms. You can kind of see the pink right here. It went away for a second as it was kind of starting to get its act together, and then it really started to pick back up again, and you can kind of see that lightning almost die down and then pick back up as it's starting to kind of get that circulation going. It doesn't look like there's quite an eye wall yet, but it's starting to really get that in gear. But you can also see here, just looking at the satellite, there's a little bit of wind shear kind of happening. It's pushing all of these storms through Jamaica, Cuba. So you can kind of see that this storm is almost flat. And we can see right here that a little bit of shear is kind of impacting that area, but that shear is set to go down over the next couple of days, allowing the storm to really pick up in strength. And we'll talk about that as the cone pops up, because again, right now, 50-mile-per-hour winds. As we take a look at the weekend, the storm is going to be moving very slowly. So it's moving to the west at 2 miles per hour. This is a very slow moving storm. So that's kind of one of the reasons why, as it slows, it's going to intensify and just tap into that ocean water even more. And that's why we can see that very rapid intensification from a Category 1 storm on Saturday morning to possibly by Monday night up to a Category 3 storm. So not as drastic as what we've seen with some of the storms so far this season, but it's still something definitely to take a look at, especially because this area in particular has had no activity in this season so far. So that's why the ocean water has been so warm, and as quite literally, if there was going to be something, that was one of the main reasons why we were going to see that rapid intensification, exactly why we're seeing it right now. So that's the latest. You can see that Jamaica, southern Cuba, parts of Haiti and the Dominican Republic are in that cone of uncertainty. And again, just a reminder, cone of uncertainty means that anywhere within this outline right here is where the center of the storm can end up. So that's something that we're going to be very much keeping a close eye on, especially because the track, is a little bit unsure of where the storm is even going as well. So that's why this cone of uncertainty more looks like a blob of uncertainty instead. So here's what we're looking at. Jamaica right now, especially coastal Jamaica, under a tropical storm watch, and areas across southern Haiti, Port-au-Prince, is right now under a hurricane watch. So we're really watching out for those conditions, especially in southern Haiti and Jamaica, for the potential of Melissa to hit. So spaghetti models, we kind of showed this right off the top, but we can see that most of the models kind of have this storm quite literally sitting and spinning as it intensifies and then making it over westward to the islands. Good news, it seems like Florida is going to be in the clear on this one. So that's good news, definitely a little bit of a sigh of relief. We'll talk about why in a bit, but really most of the track kind of takes it over the islands. It's more just like what islands are going to be the most hard hit. And there's kind of a reason why we're specifically watching Haiti and the Dominican Republic is because of a mountain range, and we'll talk about that in just a moment. But with that track kind of being so unsure as the storm is kind of intensifying, it could sweep over towards Jamaica and then kind of shoot back westward or eastward and then kind of make its way over Haiti, Dominican Republic. It's going to be very much very telling is how this storm is going to intensify and where it kind of goes from there. So spaghetti models, not necessarily completely sure, but starting to get a little bit more of an idea. And once we start to head through the rest of the work week and into the weekend, as the storm is really picking up strength, we'll definitely have a better idea of what's going to happen with that. Speaking of intensification, so over the next 72 hours, we could be seeing a hurricane. So this is putting us towards the middle of the weekend, 72 hours from now. So we could be seeing Hurricane Melissa by the back half of the weekend, start of the weekend. And then from there, it's going to rapidly intensify. And as this storm kind of picks up that strength and starts to move, that's when we could see that either quick weakening or the sustained track of how this storm is going to play. So a little bit uncertain, but we do know that this storm is going to strengthen very quickly just because of how warm the ocean water is and just the atmospheric kind of conditions of what we're seeing out there right now. So here's our Fox model. You can kind of see it's almost making its way up towards Haiti, the Dominican Republic. And again, some of the other models bring it up towards Jamaica and then shoot over back towards Haiti and the Dominican Republic. But our Fox model right now kind of has this very slowly making its way north toward Haiti, Dominican Republic, and that is going to be a major factor in the possibility of very life-threatening flooding. And we can see right here, we were talking about that mountain range at the top of the show, and we can see that's kind of the border of where we see the strongest and the heaviest rain, is because once that rain kind of makes its way up towards the side of the mountains, it gets wrung out, and then all of that rain gets stuck on the same side of the mountain, and then on the other side of the mountain, it gets totally dry. So you can see in southern Dominican Republic, it is 31 inches of rain possible, and then up towards Puerto Plata, we could be seeing barely an inch. So there's going to be a wide range of rain chances, kind of just depending on where you are, or if you are planning on a cruise in the Caribbean islands over the about the next week or so. So we're going to be watching that forecast very carefully, because any shift in the track is going to put this amount of rain someplace else. So it's really just going to be who's going to be hit the hardest once we start to see that plate in game. And Daniel Hankins on Facebook, is this forecast ever going to be hitting Central Florida? We're getting there. So, but for right now, a little bit more of the depending on Florida is most likely this storm is not going to be affecting us here. We're going to have a dip in the jet stream, and this is almost going to shield Florida, kind of pushing wherever this storm may go across the Caribbeans back eastward. So this is almost going to be shielding us, and this is going to be one of those cold fronts that we're going to talk about coming up in the next break that we're going to be focusing in on. That's going to be not only bringing in some showers, but also bringing in some of that cooler faller air. Okay, we're going to take a quick break, and we will be right back. We'll see everybody again in 2 minutes. Let us know once again if you do have any plans coming up. We'll answer those coming up in a little bit. Stick with us. All right, everybody, welcome back. We're going to take a look at a couple of your comments that you've been writing in on Facebook and YouTube. Jay says that on Facebook, says Melissa needs to fizzle because they are going on a cruise to the Bahamas. Well, hopefully, Jay, if you're still with us here on Facebook, let us know when you're going on a cruise, because fingers crossed that Melissa will be long gone by the time you do hit the Bahamas. Neek on YouTube saying that Berlinda, she was another one of our commenters on YouTube very often. Glad you said that you didn't want to get attacked for liking candy corn. Honestly, candy corn, I like the pumpkin ones. I don't necessarily like actual candy corn, but the pumpkin ones I will absolutely eat. Only during Halloween, though, for sure. Melissa on YouTube writing in that they are in Georgia, but all of her family is in Florida. Hi, Melissa's family. If you are watching, and fingers crossed they are watching Fox 35 or loyal viewers to Fox 35, let us know where they're at, Melissa, if you are still watching on YouTube. All right, William on Facebook writing, that's good for us in Florida, and Delnellen, will Halloween be good for us here in Florida? So something that we're going to be watching, and this ties in very well to our local forecast, is that we're going to be tracking kind of a series of cold fronts, and we could be watching one that could be bringing us in some chilly weather for Halloween. It's maybe a little bit too far out to kind of really pin down, but something that is on our radar coming up next week. Belinda watching in saying that her favorite Halloween candy is candy corn. Again, the pumpkin ones I will absolutely eat. Actual candy corn, maybe not so much. Alrighty. And I think that might be all of our comments that we kind of have cycling around. Yeah, so Jay, again, if you're still watching, I'm kind of keeping an eye on our Facebook comments. Let us know when you are going on that cruise, so fingers crossed we can kind of get you a better forecast for that and a little bit more accurate when it comes to that timing. Alrighty. So, over the next couple of days, KB, that was the other comment that I was looking at. KB on YouTube saying that they are also going to be cruising in that Dominican Republic, Caribbean Islands area. So, fingers crossed, Melissa is going to be out of there before KB, you do get on your cruise. Okay, everybody, so here's what we're looking at over the next couple of days. Right now, our radar is completely clear. We have a little bit of a boundary kind of starting to form in, so this may pick up a shower, but either way, it's just going to bring in some pretty gusty winds towards Cocoa Beach, down towards Palm Bay, maybe a little bit of a shower down by Indian River County, but other than that, we are looking pretty clear. Alrighty, so let's get into our local forecast a little bit more. We were seeing the possibility of a couple cold fronts making its way through the region. So as we take a look at what's in store for tomorrow and as you're headed out the door, starting off on the cooler side, we're seeing a cold front kind of moving through as we speak, / through the overnight tonight. This is what's going to be bringing in a little bit of that cooler and drier air. So that's why we see those temperatures a little on the chilly side as you're at the door tomorrow morning. Temperatures starting off throughout the mid 60s, quickly warming up into the low 80s. We see a little bit of that fall air creeping back into the region. But good news is that this boundary that's making its way in, keeping us bright, keeping us sunny, and keeping us a little on the cooler side as we take a look at the weekend ahead. So if you do have any weekend plans, things are looking good to go. And any outdoor plans, things are going to be beautiful out there. Heads up though, if you are planning on heading to the beaches, rip current's still going to be on the high end of the rip current risk through the next couple of weeks. And then also we're going to be seeing those king tides back in action at the start of November with the next supermoon. So again, beaches on the breezy side, be careful in the water. Rip currents and high tides are still going to be on the rougher side over the next couple of weeks. So that's what we're in for. Here is our Fox model to kind of take you through the latest here. There we go. Over the next couple of hours, we may just see maybe a stray sprinkle. I'm not really buying it, but overall, we're going to continue to see those mainly clear skies through the overnight tonight. And without that cloud cover through the overnight tonight, clouds almost act like a blanket holding in the heat that we get in the daily key to the atmosphere. When we see those clouds overnight, usually we see a higher low, but today it's going to be crystal clear through the overnight tonight. So all that heat is just going to be lost to the atmosphere. And as we take a look at the next couple of days, we're going to see those highs a little on the cooler side. But really, there's not going to be too much happening with the forecast just because it is going to be so clear over the next couple of days. So something that we're going to be pretty much lucky for, that we're going to be seeing not only a little bit of that fall air, but just some beautiful weather over the next couple of days. It will be breezy, but overall those forecast highs are going to be staying right around average, if not below average. So taking a look, we're going to see a cold front move through the overnight tonight, dropping our temperatures back down into the low 80s. Then we're going to be seeing another one kind of make its way through on Monday, Tuesday. That's what's going to keep our rain chances a little bit more on the scattered side as we take a look through the start of the work week. Heads up if you are joining us for this weekend. I'm so excited for this. Our Making Strides walk in downtown Orlando, right near Lake Eola. That is Saturday. The walk starts at 9 a.m. The entire Fox 35 gang is going to be down there, so make sure you come down. Make sure you say hi. I will be there. My dog Honey will be there, and most of the storm team will be there as well. So come on down, say hi, introduce yourself. We would love to meet you. And for that walk, it is going to be so beautiful. A little bit on the cooler side to start. Temperatures starting around 72 degrees for the start of that walk, and then warming up so nicely as we head through the afternoon. So come on down, support a great cause, and meet the rest of the Fox 35 studio gang, because we absolutely would love to meet you. All right, let's take a look at your 7-day forecast before we wrap up for the day today. And again, we do this every weekday, Monday through Friday, 3 to 3:30 p.m. And again, this forecast is for you. So you let us know your plans. We will try to give you a personalized forecast as best we can. So forecast over the next couple of days, here's what it is. Temperature is going to be lingering throughout the low 60s for overnight lows as that cooler fall air kind of kicks back in a little bit more. Seeing those rain chances come back in as we see another cold front not only move through the overnight tonight, but another one's going to be moving through later on Sunday and into Monday, keeping our temperatures on the cool side, but also bringing in the chance of a couple of scattered showers as we head through the start of the next work week. So really, rainy season is done. Widespread rain really only going to come in if we do see a cold front move in. So that's why we're going to kind of be a little bit on a roller coaster throughout the 80s over the next couple of days. So we have about a minute left. Let's actually take another look at the comments to see if anybody else wrote in. And we see William on our Facebook page writing in that his favorite Halloween candy is peanut butter cups. And let's do one last check on Facebook. Berlinda says, bring on the pumpkin pie. Yes, I totally agree. And Brian on YouTube is also writing in some very cute stickers and emojis in the comments. So very nice, good stuff. And again, if anyone does have any plans on cruising, be careful with Melissa, because that'll probably stick around for another week or two and definitely roughen up those oceans. So hopefully, fingers crossed, you are not seasick if you are planning on cruising within the next 2 weeks. All right, everyone, thank you so much for watching. We will be back here tomorrow for 3 o'clock. See you then.